Hi, I'm Bryan O'Neal from Coherent, and in this video I'd like to show you a fantastic feature built into the Coherent platform for transforms. And what we're talking about here is shaping the JSON that's coming from a calling system so that it fits the schema needed by your Coherent Spark service, and then transforming that data on the way back out. Let me orient you towards the type of problem we're trying to solve here. I have a property rater here in Coherent, and if you look at the JSON request, you can see that it's a very flat data structure. It's a lot of single fields with a couple of tables here. Like here's a table of location values, for example. And this makes sense when you think about it because Excel is two-dimensional, and that constrains the type of data that you can pass in or out via tagging as X inputs or X outputs into Coherent. Well, what do you do if you've got a complex data structure coming out of your calling system, like something that's deep nested, for example? Well, you've got to transform that JSON. And we made this easier for you by publishing this Transforms API. And here's our docs for the Transforms API. And I'd encourage you to read through these if you're interested. Here's a little diagram of what's going on. Ultimately, what you're trying to call is this Spark service right here, but your data coming out of your system is going to have some complex data structure that needs to be transformed. And so we're going to call instead an endpoint that's called /transform that sits in front of the transform document itself. And the transform document itself is written in a library called JSONata, which lets you quickly and very tersely express JSON transformations. I'll show you an example here. In this folder for transform demo, I have uploaded a transform. And let's go in here and edit it to take a look at what it, how it looks. Here's the request transform on the left. So this is all JSONata expressions here on the left, JSONata rules, if you will. And over here on the right is the response transform. So this is transforming the X outputs coming out of Coherent into whatever data structure the receiving system needs to see. And the JSONata itself, I've written over here in cursor, actually. And so here's my request JSONata. And here's my response JSONata. And by the way, AI is really good at writing these. if you give your AI an example of your source data and your destination data and say, write me a JSONata transform for this, it gets it right, like the first time. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And so when you're ready to call your transform with Postman, you say, I'm going to call API/v4/transforms/transform demo property v1. That's the name of my transform right there. And then here's the name of the service that's being called. And I pass in all of the normal material. Well, actually, sorry, no, in the body of the request here, I'm passing the untransformed payload coming out of my calling system. So you can see a much more complex data structure here in the body of the request. And when I hit send, it actually calls that rater, that property rater API, does the pricing, does the transform coming back, and then transforms the response down here into the scheme that your receiving system needs. So it's a wonderful feature, really accelerates your implementation. And if we can help you get started with it, we would love to. Give us a call. Thanks for watching.